You know, Neera Tanden is
wonderful. We're just gonna take the words right out of your mouth. Absolutely wonderful, and that hearing was just, mwah! It was beautiful. It was just beautiful. It was just. Did you hear? My favorite part was Tim Kaine. Did you see Tim Kaine?
Yeah, I mean, he basically.
Oh, that was the best. That was the best. That was like you're about to give a kid a participation trophy, right. And as long as the kid doesn't shit their pants, they get it. Like that was just. He was just like, if you get the job, will you work hard?
Right.
Are you excited for this job?
Exactly. And if you are, it's yours.
Show up on time? Okay, I'm sold. Literally,
yeah,
I'm sold.
That was about right. I want to play for the audience though what was my favorite clip, because I could watch this over and over again. So Bernie Sanders obviously took Neera to task for some of the personal attacks that she engaged in, and we'll talk about some of those specifics in a minute. But Senator Kennedy came in with the line of the year, as far as I'm concerned. You basically did everything but call Sanders an ignorant slut. Can we play this?
Now, isn't that a movie reference?
Yeah, I don't.
Before you play it, I think that's some kind of movie reference, but I don't.
I don't know if it is, but it was.
I don't know. Maybe it's not. I guess I shouldn't say that because I don't know for sure. But I saw it somewhere online that
it might be. It might be. But it's a great little snippet.
I mean, you call Senator Sanders everything but an ignorant slut.
That is not true.
And when you said these things, did you mean them?
I wouldn't have said ignorant.
Senator, I have to say, I deeply regret my comments.
I understand that, but
and
when you said them, did you mean them? I understand you've taken them back, but did you mean them?
I'd say the discourse over the last 4 years on all sides has been incredibly polarizing.
I'm asking about yours. Did you mean them?
I really feel badly about them, Senator.
Did you mean them?
I feel badly about them.
Did you mean them when you said them?
I mean, I would say social media is
Did you mean them when you said them?
I feel terribly about them.
Did you mean them when you said them, or were you not telling the truth?
I mean, I feel badly. I look back at them. I said them. I feel badly about them. I deleted tweets over.
Are you saying that because you want to be confirmed?
No, I felt badly about them. And
did you mean them when you said them?
Senator, I must have meant them, but I really regret them.
I want the record to reflect that I did not call Senator Sanders an ignorant slut. Okay?
Thank you.
I have a letter in front of me from, as I'm sure you have seen, a number of Republican members of the House concerned about some of the things you said as the head of CAP. But of course, your attacks were not just made against Republicans. There were vicious attacks made against progressives, people who I have worked with, me personally. So as you come before this committee to assume a very important role in the United States government at a time when we need serious work on serious issues and not personal attacks on anybody, whether they're on the left or the right, can you reflect a little bit about some of your decisions and the personal statements that you have made in recent years?
Yes, Senator, I really appreciate that question, and I recognize that my language and my expressions on social media, caused hurt to people, and I feel badly about that, and I really regret it, and I recognize this. It's really important for me to demonstrate that I can work with others, and I look forward to taking that burden, and I apologize to people on either the left or right who are hurt by what I've said.
So, Ron, we have somebody that has clarified for us where the ignorant slut comment comes from. Apparently, it's SNL and Dan Aykroyd. Thank you guys for knowing that. I did not know that. That makes it even funnier in a way, actually.
So I was almost there.
You were almost there.
By movie, I meant TV show that's still on the air. That's what I meant.
Right. Hey, man, I didn't even know it was even media related in that capacity. I just thought this guy was saying it. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like, what?
Right. Yeah. It was sort of a weird thing to say, although, yeah, you knew the point he was making. And then I saw on Twitter it was a reference to something. And yeah. So
I mean, let's be honest. It wasn't entirely off base.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's and then it was so funny how she eventually said, yeah, I meant it. She was asked like 10 times, did you mean these? And she's like, well, I regret tweeting. I regret tweeting. Well, did you mean it? Well, I regret tweeting. I regret tweeting. She'd make a great politician, really. I mean, she's pretty much there, but she'd make an excellent politician with her ability to completely deflect from a question. Did you mean it? Then eventually she's like, well, I guess I did mean it. I did mean it.
But I regret it. You only regret it because you got busted now and it's coming back to haunt you. Exactly. That's might as well what she might as well have said. So I wanted to reference actually a personal exchange I had with Neera Tanden a few years back, because I think it's sort of, I think fighting with Neera on Twitter is a rite of passing in a strange way. Because
everybody's been blocked by her.
Yeah, I'm now blocked by her too, and I'm going to show you what I said to her that got me blocked. I was upset with her because of her partnership with American Enterprise Institute. Look, it's bad enough that any progressive think tank would side with AEI on anything, right? They had given AEI money. In fact, some of the money that they had taken in went to AEI. I think it was $200K, $400K. I can't remember now. Andrew Perez actually did a great expose on this. But I kind of called her out on something in particular that bothered me. They had decided that they were going to plan this racial diversity seminar thing with AEI. So when I saw the flyer for it, I was completely appalled because AEI is the home of Charles Murray. Charles Murray, who I mentioned earlier in the show, is the academic behind The Bell Curve, which basically was a book that made a biodeterministic argument about race and IQ. And part of the argument was black folks are innately not as smart as white people. They're born that way. Ergo, it's a waste of money for us to fund Head Start. And I think everybody should be appalled by what I just said. Absolutely appalled. But this was the argument that this 900-page book makes. So I brought this up to Neera in an exchange because I couldn't understand what she was doing with these folks. And she was obviously very condescending to me. She tried to defend it. And her response was like, what, you think it's bad that we do any sort of racial diversity programming? And I'm like, no, Neera, I think it's bad that you do it with AEI. Do you really think that these folks care about racial diversity? How is that possible given their track record? And anyway, so we had this very heated exchange over it. She wasn't going to back down. She wasn't hearing what I had to say at all. So my thing is this. This
all seems so out of character about her.
Yeah,
that was your experience? You don't say.
Right. So you took the words out of my mouth. What is it with Neera that she comes from this? I mean, she's very condescending all the time, but she also comes from a place that she knows best when sometimes it's just obvious that she doesn't. I think it's one of her worst attributes. And it's probably, as far as I'm concerned, disqualifying for her for this position. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think she's totally unqualified for this position, and she's one of many. I mean, so many of Biden's picks, they're kind of more of the same. Like people involved in, I mean, there was that person who had that contract with Raytheon and defense contractors, and this is something that is, to quote Joe Biden's most honest campaign promise, nothing will fundamentally change. Yeah. This is something that presidents do. This is what Trump did. This is what Obama did. This is what Bush did. This is what they all do. They appoint people who not only are totally unqualified for the positions they're appointed for, they're actually the opposite of what they're appointed for. They appoint someone to education who is completely anti-education. They appoint someone for the environment who is for oil and gas. And in the case of Neera Tanden, I mean, it's so incredibly disturbing that there is someone in this position who also gets the label of progressive, quote unquote. Right. And she has straight up said we should go and invade countries for their oil. She straight up said that. She's anti-Medicare for all. On what planet is this progressive?
Yeah, no
certainly
planet.
no other democratic experiment in the world other than the United States. And
Right.
yeah, as you're watching this stuff, you just gotta think, like, as a lefty in this country. And hey, I know that we lefties, we definitely have our differences at times. We definitely butt heads at times, but we got to realize at the end of the day,
Right.
we have no representation at all.
That's
all we
right.
have is each other. And we pretty much, as far as people with power, we pretty much have nobody in our corner. We're on our own. And it's been this way arguably since the 30s.
Yeah.
So, man.
You're not going to get an argument from me against any of that. So you brought up the oil money thing. That comes from one of the leaked emails in which she suggested that we take money from Libya, some of their oil money, to fund, I believe it was Head Start. Going back to that conversation. So yeah, this is a crazy sentiment. This is so imperialist. We're invading another country and we're going to steal their oil to fund our programs for a group of folks that need these programs, but also ones that AEI thinks we should get rid of, which are also like working with to do this thing on racial diversity. There's like so many layers of this onion here. And she twists herself into, these contradictory arguments all the time. I think another good example is when she tweeted, "Believe women, unless it doesn't work for your ambition," apparently, right?
Right.
Then she turns around and completely destroys Tara Reade's credibility, right? I think she said something about we shouldn't believe her. That's just, who knows if it's the truth. So, I mean, which is it? It can't be both ways. I think another example is also when she named a victim of sexual harassment within her organization, named her by name in a staff meeting.
Yeah, well, and also the Libya thing you mentioned, I think in that email thread, it was, and I'm probably going to mispronounce the name. I apologize, but it was Fez
Shakir, yes.
Faz
Yeah,
Shakir,
yeah.
Thank you. And I mean, he confronted her about it,
He
I
did.
believe, in that email thread. And then didn't she punch him at some point too?
I have not heard that story, but it would not shock me.
I think she punched him at some point in time.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.